Imagine nimefanya hiyo intro yote and it was not live, but it was not live.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was not
You can
live. I'm sorry, man.
you can
Eh?
redo it and you will crop this one out.
But nishaenda live, unfortunately. No
Yes.
problem. Now let's start with the welcome Sly. I should see you on camera. Ama you're not ready to be seen. Now
She
let's
she's
start
complaining.
let's start with the matches that are played this weekend. Because the first match was Newcastle against Bournemouth, and of course
Yes.
Newcastle were at home. They had a very good run. Off the back of this match, they had a very good run, and we expected them to get 3 points against Bournemouth. Looking at Bournemouth, they've also had a very good run. They've had a very good coach who has been playing very well against top teams. We have seen him beat the likes of Manchester City, the likes of Arsenal. They've beaten, I think, also beaten Manchester United. They've had a very good run. Newcastle United as well. They've had a very good run. At some point, I remember they were behind Chelsea 11 points, but they had a very good run. Isaac was scoring, was firing. But on this particular match against Bournemouth at home, it was very difficult for them to get the 3 points against Bournemouth. What do you think about Newcastle United at the moment? And where do you think uh, Bournemouth really stopped them from firing as they've been doing lately?
Yes, just as you've put it, Newcastle, all those matches that you've talked about, that the good run that you are talking about, they have always depended on Isaac. And
Yeah.
if you watch that match, you realize that Bournemouth actually decided to silence Isaac. I don't know how many times Isaac touched the ball on that particular day
He was very
during
quiet
that
in that match.
particular match. He was very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth were battling the midfield. Players like Jolinton could not do whatever they always do in the Premier League, and they were frustrated. If you watch the match,
Mm-hmm.
the Newcastle midfield, they were frustrated. They could not play the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth was all over them from the first minute to the last minute. And you remember, Bournemouth is one team that has got a lot of energy, and their energy
Yeah.
don't go down. They don't lose their
Mm-hmm.
energy. They don't lose their focus. They will play a high intensity. They will
Yeah.
play the high intensity until the 90th minute. And that is where they outplayed Newcastle at their stuff.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you see, as you said, I look at also, one thing that I have realized, looking at two teams, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, and Newcastle United. These are two teams that I feel like they've surprised most of us this season. Now, one thing that I've really loved from these teams is how they play and how they play as a unit. They collectively defend as a unit. But I don't think on Saturday Newcastle United were well organized as a unit, collectively defending, because they conceded very funny goals. Of course, Kluivert was on fire that day. He scored a hat trick, and you cannot stop someone who is on fire. Like that day, actually it was very easy for him to get a hat trick. I think he scored 3 goals. Two of them were similar. I mean, from the same position, he was able to score. And I think also uh, Newcastle's goalkeeper was not that good in that match. Now, what I was
Remember,
saying
remember,
earlier, these two teams, okay,
remember that Newcastle goalkeeper is not their number one goalkeeper. Their number one goalkeeper
yeah,
is Pope, and he's out injured.
yeah,
And as you've said, Kluivert has been
yeah,
on fire. Not only that match, the Newcastle
mm-hmm,
defense was overwhelmed by the speed,
yeah,
creativity of Bournemouth. If you watch
yes,
that match, you can see Bournemouth has very good players, people who can hurt you anytime during the
mm-hmm,
match, and they can overwhelm you with the speed. with the quick passes and all those trickeries that they do have in their possession. That is where Bournemouth outplayed Newcastle. Newcastle were trying to organize themselves. Remember, they also don't have some of their good players. Like Botman was there, but he's not fit enough. He has been out injured for some time. They don't have their best defender in Lascelles. He's also out. So they were also not at their best playing against Bournemouth, a team that is also on fire. Remember, Bournemouth won at Manchester United 3-0. Bournemouth won at Arsenal. So it's not a team to joke around with. Yes.
Sure. It's not a team to joke around with. Sly, how are you? Sly, are you with us? He's left.
Slice.
He's left. Now, let's talk about um of course after that we had other matches that were played. We had league leaders Liverpool taking on Brentford or Brentford taking on Liverpool at Community Stadium. And we saw Liverpool did actually get two late goals from Nunes Darwin, very late. We did not expect them to win at that particular point because we knew that that game was already done. But Nunes Darwin came and actually rescued 3 points. What do you think about Liverpool at the moment? Do you think that they've started that season? Each and every team, in as much as the team is doing very well, there is a season. In a season, you find that there's a difficult time where a team doesn't play very well, but still normally grind the results. What do you think about Liverpool at the moment? Are they in that
I
phase where they are not
don't
playing well,
think
but they're getting the result?
watching that match, Liverpool still played very well. In fact, they had 34 shots.
Mhm.
They had 34 shots towards Brentford. They still played very well. They were not clinical. They were not barring the chances that they were creating. They created so many chances. Looking at Diaz, Salah was not clinical. He had very nice chances to score. He did not score, and I feel he has been down since the Manchester United game. Salah has not been Salah that we know.
Mhm.
So Liverpool is still a good team. Liverpool was still better than Brentford. Remember, Brentford
Mhm.
also missed some good chances in the early
Yeah, they did.
stages of the match, but they did not create much as compared to Liverpool. Liverpool created numerous opportunities to score. They did not score. It's good for them. They had 2 goals last minute. And from a very unlikely source, that is Nunes, one person who has been missing very open chances. We know that in the Premier League. And
Mhm.
one thing I also noticed, Trent Alexander Arnold played that game very well. He has not been good, especially before and after the Manchester United game. I think the confidence was a little bit low. But
Mhm.
that particular game, Trent played a very good game. He had a very good game against Brentford. So
Yeah.
Nunes bailed them out, scored 2 quick goals the dying minutes of the match. They had 3 points, and that is a team that can win now. The Premier League can be the winners of the Premier League when you struggle to score goals, but at the end of the it all, you come out
Yeah.
on top and you with all the 3 points. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Liverpool it's still a very good team. I don't think they have not shown us that they are dipping in any way. They're still doing very good
Mhm.
job. Yeah.
Now, for me, I think I looked at that match, and one thing I realized is that Liverpool do have so many players with goals in them. Look at Jota, of course, he's
Yes.
injured at the moment. They have
Yeah.
Gakpo, who can
They have
actually score
Diaz.
from any position outside the box, can score in the box. They've got Diaz, who sometimes is being deployed as a center forward. They have Salah. When Salah is not firing, of course, there's Gakpo who's scoring goals
Liverpool.
from very, very, very uh,
Don't
from
forget.
any
Don't
point.
forget.
Mhm.
Don't forget Van Dijk. He's not a very dangerous player in the box, especially when they are having their corners. Very,
Exactly,
very
exactly.
dangerous. Can score anytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what I picked from that, and what I picked from Liverpool is that they have an ability to stay in the game looking for an opportunity to come, and they're very patient. They don't stop doing that. They continue looking for an opportunity to score because looking at them, I mean, that match was like it was done. Even Brentford probably thought that that match was already done. It was a heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking moment for Liverpool for Brentford to concede two quick goals, something that nobody expected. So with them, I think they got so many players, especially up front, who can score goals from anywhere. I mean, Nunes is a threat in behind. He's a very pacey player. He can actually play on the wing, drift on the wing. They got Chiesa. Look at Chiesa who came in. Look when you look at the first goal that they scored, the move started with Chiesa. Chiesa, of course, progressed the ball forward, came to the central position, progressed the ball forward, and actually that's what you need. You need experienced players. You need players who can offer you goals from any position of the pitch, and of course that is what he did uh, Nunes Darwin. So I feel like them
One thing
Liverpool, they
One thing I realized with Liverpool, when Diaz is played up top as number 9,
yeah,
they really don't
yeah,
score so many goals. I think
yeah,
Ancelot should see this and play Gakpo as a 9 and have Diaz playing at the wings. Liverpool has been doing
mhm,
very well when Diaz is playing at the wings. That is the left-hand side. Salah on the right and Gakpo as a 9. But with Diaz as a
mhm,
9, Gakpo playing on the left, I don't think they are that dangerous.
mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I also think that. But do you think that Nunes now that after scoring those two goals, has he really is he going to knock on the manager's door to ask for a position, an opportunity to play regularly as a striker?
I don't think so. Nunes will still be used sparingly, just as a sub, as always.
Mhm,
Those two
mhm,
goals is not enough to show us what is better than other players that Liverpool have in their squad. People like
yeah.
Diaz, people like Gakpo, Jota. I know he'll be
Mhm,
back. Salah. So Nunes will still wait for his time,
mhm.
but still he will still warm the bench. I believe so.
Still warm the bench. Now, what do you think about their space? I mean, right now they're 6 points ahead of Arsenal. They're 6 points ahead of Nottingham Forest with a game in hand against Everton. An Everton that is totally rejuvenated after David Moyes joined them lately. Now, what do you think about them? Are they going to win the Premier League as early as probably March? Now that looking at Arsenal not doing very well, looking at Chelsea, looking at Nottingham Forest, and also Manchester City, they don't seem to offer stiff competition to Liverpool.
If you follow the history of the English Premier League, let me say the recent history from
Yeah,
1991 up to 2024, you can agree with me that Liverpool is one of the teams that really bottled this league. I think
yeah,
I don't think it is an automatic thing that they are going to win the league. They will be in there. They will be very
yeah.
close, and they
Mm-hmm.
have a very big chance. I give them a 60% win, but
Mm-hmm.
it is not obvious. And let's
Mm-hmm.
wait and see what Man City can do if they can really come back and give them some pressure. Yeah. So we can see what
Do you
Liverpool
think
can
from
do.
where City
Challenge.
are, can they make it? From where City are, can they really make
Exactly.
it
Yes.
to?
It is possible. It is possible. This is football. This is football. It is very possible. You just lose 2 matches and draw one, and the City will be neck to neck with
Have you
Liverpool.
looked at Have you looked at City fixtures? Their next
Yes, I
five
have.
fixtures are very tough.
Yes,
They're
I
going to
have.
be playing
Remember,
Chelsea.
you remember when Guardiola said that he wants his players back, and
Yeah.
people were questioning who are these players that Guardiola wants in his team.
Mm-hmm.
Guardiola's players were not playing as Guardiola's players. They were not playing as Manchester City players, and that is what he wanted back. If you look at that match, Guardiola, Man City, and Ipswich, you could see the urgency. You could see. Look at what is his name?
Foden. Is
Foden.
Foden?
You see,
Yeah.
Foden has scored 6 goals.
In two consecutive. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and the goals are back. He struggled at the beginning of the season, and now he's back. He's scoring. You can see from the body language of the players that are ready, right? They are ready. You could see how they were playing, how they were reacting during that match that they played against Ipswich. So I believe Man
Mhm.
City will be around. Don't write them off. Man City is in this thing, my friend. They are in this thing. They
No,
are in this.
I think they have very tough fixtures ahead of them. Because looking at their next fixtures, it's not going to be easy. They're going to be facing Liverpool. Okay, they're going to be facing Chelsea,
They're facing Chelsea. Let's wait
Arsenal.
and see. I know you are a
Yeah,
Chelsea fan. I know you're a Chelsea
yeah, but
fan.
it's not going to be easy for sure. It's not going to be easy for City.
Let's wait and
They
see
still have
how
some
they are going
problems.
to.
They still have some problems. They still,
Let's
and
wait
of
and see
course,
what they're going to do. But I believe Man City is still Man City.
no disrespect to
Whenever
Ipswich, but I don't think Ipswich had it. In, I don't think they cannot they
yeah,
had it
Ipswich,
in. It
Ipswich
was not.
is not a serious. Ipswich is not a serious opposition.
Yeah,
You could see the mentality that was in that team.
mhm, yeah.
Manchester City has lost. Manchester City lost to very small teams as compared even to Ipswich. You
Which
remember
ones?
Manchester City?
Because
Look at the Champions League. They played which team? Manchester City lost several teams. In fact, they were being beaten left, right, and center by all the teams that they met. You know, so scoring 6 goals in one match, yeah, just give it to them. They are back in it. And
let's wait and see.
Chelsea,
We're
Man
gonna
City,
judge them when
Chelsea,
they're gonna be meeting
Man
Chelsea.
City, Chelsea is going to show us if at all they're
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
exactly. Because you saw they beat Nottingham Forest, then immediately after that they lost against you. I think they lost against United.
Yes.
They they
They
lost.
lost a very they lost against a very good United, remember?
No, not really,
And
actually.
it's not that they lost. United scored a penalty and a late goal by Ahmad.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some silly
No.
mistakes at the back. Some silly mistake at the back by Nunes.
Yeah.
Exactly,
It's
yes.
okay. Let's talk about the next match that was played that day on Saturday, and that was Arsenal playing Aston Villa. Arsenal playing Aston Villa at home. At some point, Arsenal are leading by 2 goals. Havertz scored. Arsenal fans have been crying about Havertz not scoring, saying that he's not good enough for them. They need a striker, but they forgot that you also need to protect the lead. After scoring goals, you actually need to protect the lead. Of course, Havertz scored. Nosso Martinelli scored. But for me, if you ask me, I think uh, poor handling of the ball from Martinez. The 2 goals could not have stood. If Martinez could have handled the ball properly, probably they couldn't have scored the 2 goals. Of course, and there was a statistic that I saw today that they actually have not created chances from the middle of the pitch. They they are they are not creating enough from the middle of the pitch. They're actually creating most of their chances from the wings. And the main man is not around. Saka is injured for some games now, and I think he'll be out for some months up until around March. That's when he's going to be back. So they got 2 goals and still could not get the 3 points against Aston Villa. Now, what do you think about Arsenal? Is it really a striker problem? Is it really a mentality problem? What is the main problem for Arsenal at the moment? Maybe you talk to Arsenal fans, they want to know, someone from outside looking in, what is the problem?
As a football fan, I'm not going to talk as a Manchester United fanatic. I want to talk
Yeah.
as a football fan. I think Arsenal's problem is Ateta. Ateta
Mhm.
lacks what we call match management. Ateta do not know how to handle matches. You take match by match. Look at that game Arsenal played against Villa. You are ahead. You are at home. You are ahead by 2 goals. In fact, the second goal was scored in the second half, I think in the 55th minute. That's when they scored their second goal. You are at home. You know very well you have a makeshift defense. A defense where a midfielder is the right back, and you have a right back as a central defender. You know, Ateta prefers a 4-3-3 formation. That is
Yes.
his formation, and he has been thriving using that formation. What Ateta could have done during that match is just to twinkle the formation a little bit. Use even 3 defenders to protect your lead. Have Timber, Gabriel, and Skelly back 3. Bring
Yeah.
Kiwo to play on the right wing back.
Mhm.
Bring Tine to play on the left wing back. Take Pate to join in the midfield so that you crowd that midfield to disorganize Aston Villa so that they don't play their game. Remember, Aston Villa has got very good players in Rogers, right? Rogers is a very good player. They have Watkins, they have Duran, they have Tillemans. And Arsenal were lucky that Onana got injured. And
Yeah, Onana got
injured,
injured. Yeah, exactly.
yes. Onana, I think, played for maybe 20 minutes or so. So if
Yeah.
Onana was there and he's on top of his game, I think we would have won that match.
Yes.
Arsenal's problem is not a striker. Arsenal, remember, have been scoring goals for free. The last 2
Exactly.
seasons, they have been scoring goals. And even that match, they scored 2 goals, but they could not actually protect their lead and get their 3 points. So that is my issue with Arteta. Arteta did not know how to manage matches. With last season, these problems, that injury problems that Saka is suffering from, these are things that have been caused by Arteta. There are matches that at Arsenal were leading 5 goals and Saka was still playing. You ask yourself, why is Saka in the field? Why can't this guy just decide and sub Saka and rest him? What is happening?
Because
What is the
they also have Sterling. Sterling is there. Sometimes when you won matches, why don't you give Sterling a chance to play? Because you already have the 3 points.
you can
You
give
need to give
Sterling
this
like
guy a rest.
this boy that he has been using Nwaneri is also
Yeah.
injured now. Very good player. So
Yeah.
Arteta has not been resting players. Arteta doesn't know how to manage matches, playing the same formation all the time. But Arteta's creativity is always on the wings. Remember when Martinelli is on form and Saka is on form, that is where he thrives. You realize that Partey and Rice and Odegaard, most of their passes are always to the flanks. That is how, that is the way, that is way the Arsenal plays. That is their way of playing. So if you can really fix that midfield, I don't think Arsenal can hurt you as a team. I don't know why these managers are not seeing this. But Rice is not rising. Partey is not partying now.
It's not starting.
And Odegaard is not giving his best this season. So my prediction, I gave my prediction about the Arsenal's final position. I think will be number 4.
To be number 4. And now,
Yeah,
what do you think about their defense situation? They've had a very good partnership of Gabriel and Saliba. Now, we didn't see Saliba on the pitch, but I don't necessarily think the problem on Saturday was really on that central position because I think most of their goals were scored through other positions, especially on their fullbacks who are not
that
properly
is right.
marking. Yeah.
There's one player at Arsenal that I really like, and that is Timber. Timber is a versatile player, and
Hmm.
Timber is a very good player, playing on the left, playing on the right. Now, like that game, he played against a very good team in central defense, and he did really well. He did well as a central defender, and so Arsenal's problem is not Saliba currently. In fact, Saliba has not been up there. Gabriel upped his game. Saliba has not been good this season for the people who are watching matches that Saliba has played last season. So Saliba's form has dipped a little bit this season. He's out injured. I think that is also going to help him. He's resting. By the time he's out, he's resting, and he will come back better than the way he has been through the season up to now. So I expect maybe Timber to continue the central defense when they are playing their Champions League, and they shouldn't use Partey. Arteta shouldn't use Partey as a right back. Let him use Kiwo on that side, and have Partey in the middle of the park, and he will play some beautiful football. Partey playing as a deep defensive midfielder always gives Arsenal defense that cushion. He gives them that confidence that there is somebody here. Remember, Odegaard he can't defend. Rice is not a defensive midfielder. Partey or Jorginho, either of them. Partey, is better than Jorginho when it comes to defending their defense. Or yeah. So I expect them to still play well, but not in all the matches. Depending on the opponent, they will still suffer. That's my take on the Gunners.
On the Gunners.
Yes.
Wow. I feel like looking at Arsenal, this is my take on Arsenal. As I said, they've so much relied on some players. Like, they've relied so much on Saka. They've relied so much on Odegaard. Of course, I'll talk about those players. On Rice, of course, talk about the front players, Rice, Saka, and as you said, there was a very good partnership of Saliba and Gabriel. But looking at Gabriel has been very instrumental for them, especially when you look at that match that they played against Tottenham Hotspur. He's the one who scored a very important goal to lead them back into the game that they had already conceded one goal. So Gabriel has been very instrumental for them in inspiring them back into the game when they are not doing very well. Now, when these players, exactly, when these players are not doing well, I feel like their manager doesn't have a plan B. He doesn't have another tactic to work with.
Exactly.
And of course, this comes with experience. But I think now he should have learned something. He should have learned something from the last.
Arteta is very rigid. Arteta will always play his formation regardless of the results, whether he's losing, whether he's winning, whether it's a draw. Arteta will always play a 4-3-3. As a manager and this modern football, you must be flexible. If I was Arteta, I could have won that game against Aston Villa. Telling you, I could have just packed the midfield, have two up front. You can have Havertz and Martinelli, or Havertz and Trossard up front. Pack the midfield, have like 5 bodies in the middle of the pack. Disorganize Aston Villa. They could have not scored the goals that they scored. Remember, I think it was the first goal. An assist was made by a right back, and he actually delivered that ball using his left. You could even see the struggle in him putting that ball across for Watkins to score. What does that tell you? He had all the time. If you're a right back struggling to play the ball using your left foot, and he struggled and delivered, and Watkins scored a very easy goal.
Very easy goal. So they actually need to improve on that. And again, as you said, I feel like Arteta is a rigid manager. In what sense? He had an opportunity to sign good players, especially in the summer. He let good players leave that club, the likes of Smith Rowe. You cannot depend on each and every. You cannot depend on the same crop of players for a very long time. You cannot depend so much on Saka. You cannot depend so much on Odegaard. They need some rest. Look at City. City when they were winning the Premier League and when they were dominant in the Premier League, they had at sometimes they could afford to let De Bruyne sit on the bench and still have good players to come in and do something. They could actually afford to let Sterling sit on the bench and still have good players to come in and do something. They could actually afford to let Sterling sit on the bench and still have good players to come in and do something. They could actually afford to let Sterling sit on the bench and still have good players to come in and do something. They could actually afford to uh, give a rest to their defenders, the likes of Ruben Diaz, so that can the likes of Ake, um,
Gee,
Akanji Stones to come in and play. They they the only players, the very few players who are left to play all the time, the likes of Rodri, probably Haaland on his feet, but they
Ford,
could actually tweak and rotate their team uh, when they really need to do that. But for Ateta, he just goes to war with his boys every
same
now and
level.
then. When they are fit, he normally makes sure that they play. So that has actually affected them this season. Like Odegaard has not been at his best because of the injuries, and I also feel it's because of
He has been overplayed
he has been overplayed, and also I also feel like there's a lot of pressure for him to perform and also
to
to lead this
deliver.
team to glory. You know,
Yeah, as a
it's very
captain.
overwhelming. Yeah, exactly. It's very overwhelming for a player of his caliber, someone who hasn't seen success, who has not led this team to success, even in his own country, is the captain, but they are not doing very well. So there is
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility to these young players who have never done it, and also the players that they brought in to come and twist and inject the experience from Manchester City. Uh, Someone like Gabriel Jesus, not someone to rely on because he gets injured all the time. Zinchenko gets injured
Even when
all the
he's not
time.
injured, he's on and off. He's not one person that you really trust to give you those
Yes,
important goals.
exactly. So I feel like there are some things that they need to connect, and they're that team that will actually see success, but they will not touch it. I mean, they'll just see it and they'll never touch it because they are very far from touching it. And it's a reality, man. We cannot separate them from
Yeah, that is
heartbreak.
the reality.
This
That is the
season
reality.
again,
I
man.
think Arsenal should find a manager that
Napotea.
you are lost. Hello.
I'm not lost. You're the one who got lost. I'm
No, I was
here.
not
I've
saying.
not gone anywhere.
I was telling you that Ateta
Mhm.
done his best. I don't think he has any room for improvement for that team, and that is a fact that Arsenal management and Arsenal fans should
Mhm.
come to terms with and agree that Ateta is now his time is up at Arsenal. He has been there for long enough. 5 years is enough. And if you are building a team, you know that is half a decade. You
Yeah.
must change. You must change. If you had a player who is 25, that player is now 30. If you had a player who
Yeah.
is 27, that player is now 32. So you start rebuilding again. And that is what he's trying to do. He has released some players who are very good, according to me. Smith Rowe, and you bring in Califiori, you bring in Merino. I don't think they are up to it. But maybe you can give them time. Let's see what they will do next season as always. Their next
Exactly. They
season will
should
be better
actually.
than this.
Yeah. I think Arteta should accept that he's just like a Moses who led this team to a certain level,
Yeah,
but he could not take them
reach
to
the
the
promised
promised
land.
land. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll reach the promised land with Arsenal. They need to get a coach that can take them
Mhm.
across. Yeah,
Yeah, we can have honorable mention to West Ham, who lost to Crystal Palace at home. And I thought that they have a new manager, Graham Potter, and I thought that they are going to turn the corner. But it seems like their problems are still they are they are not far from leaving them.
my friend, you are letting me down. Is Potter a manager that you need to mention his name where good managers are being mentioned?
You see, he was at Brighton. They were doing very well at Brighton, and I expected, these managers are good in such kind of teams. The likes of Brighton, West Ham's, Crystal Palaces, these are where they excel, you know. And I thought this is where he
Right.
belongs. He doesn't
Some
belong
teams.
to big teams.
But remember, Fulham also plays very good football currently.
No, they played against Crystal Palace. They're playing against
Yes,
Palace.
Crystal Palace, sorry, not Fulham. Crystal Palace
Mhm.
plays very good football, and they are very good players in their ranks.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's a team that can also hurt you anytime if you give them chance to do that. You have to be
Hmm.
very much alert when you're playing Crystal Palace. I always rate them at the same level. Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Everton. These are teams
Hmm.
that if you are not alert, they can hurt you anytime. So those are teams that I feel they are on the same level. And Crystal Palace got better of West Ham. They were still celebrating their win. I think they had the win the other weekend.
Yeah, they were
They
still
were still
celebrating their win.
in the
They won
glory.
3-2. They won 3-2, and
Yes.
their manager was buzzing that he's done something for the team. Now, what do you think about Mateta? Mateta is one player who scored 2 goals in that match, and looking at the conversion rate of Premier League strikers, is up there with the likes of Chris Wood and who else? I think him and Chris Wood are the ones who have a high conversion rate. What do you think about Jean Mateta? Is
Jean
he someone
Mateta,
probably big teams should sign, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Arsenal?
exactly. I think
Can
I
he bring a
think I think
difference?
teams like Arsenal, most of the Arsenal fans are crying for Isaac. And Isaac will be very expensive in terms of purchase and even wages.
Mhm.
They should go for Mateta. Mateta is one person who will give you, one player who will give you everything that you want. And
Mhm.
he fits the bill. Look at the structure, look at his body. He can
Mhm.
really torment defenders. You know how he plays.
Mhm.
So he is all round. He has everything. He has pace. He has the trickery. He can give you goals by legs, by headers. So he's one player
Mhm.
that I think Arsenal should go for before we go for him, because we also need a striker in our ranks at Manchester
You got,
United.
but you got two good strikers. You just need to give them time. They are
Just say
going to
that we
get
have
in and do
two.
something.
Just say that we have two strikers. Why do you add the word good?
No, they are good. They are good. They're good.
Show
Hoyland,
that they are good.
you know, you got Hoyland. You got Hoyland from Atlanta, the same place you got Ahmad from. So, and Ahmad took took time to acclimatize himself to the team, and right now he's doing very well. You know.
Yeah, Hoyland will also be good going forward. Let's give him time. But for
Yeah, yeah,
now, he's not doing very well. So Mateta, I rate him highly. I rate Mateta highly. Playing in a very good team, a team that creates chances, is one player that can score very many goals. He's a real striker. In
yeah.
fact, looking at Mateta and Liverpool, I think he can play really well at Liverpool, better than Arsenal.
Okay.
If they can use Mateta in a Liverpool squad, he can really fit in
Hmm.
that squad. The way he plays with the wingers at Liverpool,
Yeah.
Mateta can be very dangerous at Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool do not have an out and out striker, an up top striker. They only have Nunes. Looking at
Hmm.
Gakpo is not a nine. Diaz is not a nine. Those are the players
Yeah,
that
Diaz
they
is
are.
not a nine. I think he's not good at nine. Diaz is terrible at playing as a center forward. I don't think he does
So
a good job.
if Liverpool can get a player like Mateta, they can easily win
Yeah.
the league. So I rate
Mhm.
him highly. You're asking me about Mateta, and I tell you I rate Mateta highly. Playing in a good team can be very dangerous.
Well, we came on Sunday, and Sunday was a beautiful day because we saw so many things happening on Sunday. But you see, I know as a Manchester United fan, you are not surprised what you saw on Sunday. And
Yeah, was it?
as a Chelsea fan, I was not surprised what I saw um, at the Everton Stadium or Goodson Park. I was not surprised because I know what Tottenham does. They are not a good team. They are not a team that you would expect them to go and get a 3 points. Now that match, let's talk about Everton versus Tottenham Hotspurs. And Tottenham Hotspurs, I think, are one of the top teams which are not doing very well at the moment, together with Manchester United at the moment. Those two teams are
We
not
are
doing
doing
very
well.
well.
We are doing well.
But
We are doing
Spurs,
well. We are doing well.
Spurs,
Just lost to
no,
Brighton,
you are not
but
doing
we.
well. You are not doing well. Looking at the standards that you're supposed
What do you
to be
mean?
keeping,
We've
you guys
lost
are
only
not
a
doing
match.
very well. You've
This
lost.
year we've only lost one match,
No,
and
but
we've
the
played away
season
to Arsenal, away to Liverpool.
the season
Why do you
the
say that
season did
we
not
are
start
doing
this
well?
year. The season did not start this year. The season started a long time ago. You've lost
Okay.
9 games already.
Continue.
Is it 9 games? I don't know. I mean, can you tell me about Spurs? What is really happening at Spurs? Because they're not winning games. Eh, Every time
Spurs,
they meet,
Spurs,
they like,
Spurs, Spurs. That is Spurs for you. What you're seeing as
mhm,
Spurs is Spurs for you. That is them, and they also
mhm,
have a very rigid manager, a manager who is not very tactical, a
mhm,
manager who depends on players. Remember, Spurs, they don't even have their defense as we speak. Van der Ven is not there. Uh, like the entire defense, back four, they only have Poro in that defense. And, a number of times they were bailed out by Johnson. When we were starting the season, Johnson was scoring for free. And Johnson's form has also dipped of late. He's not scoring. So that is affecting Spurs. They are not defending. That's why they conceded very, I don't want to call them silly goals, but they conceded. Look at the goals they conceded. In fact, I think the third
Calvert
goal was
Lewin.
an own
Calvert
goal.
Lewin has not scored for 16 good matches. He scored against Spurs. You can imagine.
Yes, you can imagine.
Mm,
So
mhm,
Spurs, there is chaos at Spurs. There
mhm,
is no organization. There is no plan as we speak. But with those players coming back, if they will come back, when they will come back, Spurs will
mhm,
just pick their form again. When
mhm,
their manager joined them, they played very beautiful football, and everybody would admire. That is last season. Oh, this is a good manager, Postecoglou, playing very nice football, but
mhm,
he's not he's not doing it now. He's not doing it now because he's missing very important players. I don't know why Postecoglou is benching or benching Madison. Like the game they played against Arsenal, Madison wasn't
mhm.
there, right? Yeah,
Yeah, he
he was
wasn't
on the
there. He was on the bench.
yeah. Madison is one of the best players that they have within their ranks. Very creative,
Mhm,
very hardworking. Madison, without an injury, will always run in that pitch. Why do you bench
mhm,
such a player? Why do you bench such a player? Tell me. Why do you bench Madison?
mhm.
I don't
I don't really
understand.
understand. Seems like there is a
Yes,
problem. There's a problem between him and the manager.
I don't understand.
But
I
even
have
him,
tried
he
to
doesn't
follow
understand
up.
why he's not playing.
Follow up. Madison doesn't have any injury. He's fit,
Mm,
and he
mm,
was being benched.
yeah.
Son is not on form. He's not the Son that we used to know.
Mhm,
Yeah, but so it's up to the manager. He's the one who is not giving what he's supposed to do at Everton, at Tottenham. Sorry, but again, that the players that are missing at the back is also giving them that weakness you could see when they're playing Everton.
Now, going into that match, I understand that their out and out striker was injured, and that is Solanke. Didn't play,
Yeah,
got injured, and I thought that was an opportunity for him to bring in Richarlison to play as a striker, but he didn't do that. He waited until I think the second half. That's when he brought him in.
same problem
Why
that
is it that their manager seems not to make good decisions at times?
exactly. He has very poor decisions. He doesn't
Mm,
know how to handle those matches and manage the matches that Tottenham is playing, and the
mm,
team is suffering from that.
mm.
Yeah,
Now,
there are
what do you
some
think
decisions.
about David Moyes? Okay, okay, continue.
Sometimes it is the manager, because remember, you as a player, you are in the pitch. You are not watching the match. You are playing the match, and the manager is out there to watch. And
Mm,
decisions that he's making can actually change
mm,
the match completely. David Moyes is a good coach and very, very, very experienced. David Moyes is one manager that has played against very serious managers. Remember, David Moyes has been playing against Ferguson, Wenger, Mourinho. Who else? Pep Guardiola. So
Yeah.
he's one manager who is very experienced, and with such teams, he will do
Mm.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
do well. How are
Welcome, Prince.
you,
How are you?
Moavia?
Fine, kwaje?
We
Fit
are
sana.
fine.
Salama.
Kabisa, nimechelewa lakini niko na nyinyi sasa.
Yeah,
Asante.
karibu sana.
Yeah.
Oh, we're actually going through the fixtures that were played this weekend. And we, of course, as of course, we watched the matches. Right now, I'm seeing Barcelona have already conceded 3 goals.
Okay.
There's some
Yeah.
echoes, your end.
Kwa sawa?
Niko sawa.
Okay. Oh, as we were saying, we were talking about the weekend fixtures and the results and how the teams played. Most of the teams played, and we were talking about Spurs, how they are conceding goals, how they are not winning games. They've had a very bad run. I think kuna echoes Kama unaweza toka urudi tena.
Haya, sawa.
Now, let's not talk about United for now. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest. They were taking on Southampton at home, and of course they got the 3 points, scoring 3 goals. Uh, Chris Wood, Chris Wood scored, I think. Chris Wood scored the third
Yeah,
goal.
this who scored,
Odoi scored.
and
Anderson.
Anderson
Anderson.
scored the
Yeah.
goal. And you could see all the goals were scored at the bottom right of the goalkeeper.
hmm
You could see the confidence. Look at from where Odoi made his shot to score that goal.
hmm
So what is happening at Nottingham Forest? They have the
hmm
confidence. They have the
Yeah.
confidence. Their manager is also very experienced. Remember,
Yeah.
very experienced manager, very good manager. He's making changes at the right time. He's resting players. I've watched their matches. They will do their job in the first half, 60-hour mark. He makes his changes. He rests his players, and don't expect them to slow down. I don't expect Nottingham Forest to slow down. They will slow down next season. Not this one. Not this one. They are
So
there.
are you putting them among the teams that are going to probably finish
They are there.
at the top
They
four?
are there. They have a very big chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel they can finish on top of Arsenal.
Okay, now let me ask you, as a team, where do you think they have the strength? And what is their collective strength to make
What?
them to
What?
be
What?
very competitive as they are?
Yes. Repeat your question kindly.
I'm saying, as a team, Nottingham Forest, collectively, what do you think is their strength that is actually making them to have a very good run of games? They're scoring goals, they're winning games.
That
What is their
feeling of
collective strength?
being that they have that feeling of being the underdog, performing well, and winning that match at Liverpool was also a turning point. Winning that 1-0 at Anfield was a turning point. It gave them it gave them a lot of strength to go forward in the league, and they believe that, oh, we can do it. If we can win at Anfield, and then who else? Who else can stop us? Let's do it. And they're doing it. They have collected 4 points from Liverpool. Remember, the best team in the league currently. They have collected 4 points. So they're there, and the unity in the team. They are playing as a team. They don't have the stars. They don't have the stars. Yes, they have a team. They don't have the players. They have a team. Like we have some teams that they depend on the stars. They depend on particular players. Forest, look at their defense. Look at the mentality. Yes, look at their defense. The way those guys are playing. They are fighting for something. You can see they are angry.
Mhm.
They are angry and hungry. They want to perform. They want to go back to where they used to be. You know, remember Forest has got two Champions League trophies. Are you aware?
I know, I know. They got 2 Champions League
Yes.
trophies.
So
I'm
they
even
want to come back. That is the anger. They want to come back to where they were. And I expect them to do well in the Champions League next season because they are going to buy players. You know, Forest is a big club. They have won the Champions
I'm
League,
even
unlike
I'm
most
even
other teams.
wondering I'm even wondering how you got 3 points against them. Did you beat them?
Yes. What?
Even wondering how you got 3 points against them. You beat
Against
them.
which team?
Nottingham Forest.
Manchester United.
Yeah.
Manchester United lost against Forest at home.
Oh, they did. Oh, they lost. Oh, is it? It was Arsenal who got 3 points against them.
Yeah, in fact, the manager made a very big blunder. We were coming back into that match. Forest were leading I think 3-0 or 3-1, and then we scored. The match ended 3-2. We were coming back, and then the manager decided to sub Bruno. That was the end of the match.
Okay. Now, Reg, what do you think about Nottingham Forest now that you guys joined second with them? The only thing is that you guys have a better goal difference.
Um, what we can say about Nottingham Forest, these guys have the unity. They are playing as a team. Unajua, what I've seen from this team, ukiangalia their positions as
Mm.
Manchester United, amesema, these guys don't have the stars, but actually they have the unity and they are playing as a whole team. They have the unity, they have the strength. Unajua, kuna that a bit of morale as a team. Each and every player is playing his role as a team. So another thing is that this team is motivated simply because they are there in the top four spot. So alafu when you take a look at the Premier League, actually the current modern type of football, or the current Premier League, the current years,
Yeah.
there is that average team yenye itakuwa among the top four teams zenye zitasumbua. If you take a look very well, there was Newcastle the other time. They were in the
Yeah.
Champions. Then now we have
Mm-hmm.
Aston Villa. They are currently in the Champions League, which of last season they were in the top four. This season in Nottingham
Mm-hmm.
Forest, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Nottingham Forest are not going to take it for granted, because actually if they were to fall off, wangekuwa wamefall off way back,
Already.
but as we can see, they're still pushing on to be in the top four. So I think they will be competitive until towards the end of the season. They will be in the Champions League next season.
Yes. And as you said, I feel also I can echo the same sentiment that they don't have stars in their team. They don't have that star player who probably they all of them depend on. But I'll single out some of the players that I feel do very well in that team. That defense, the two players, Mliro and Milankovic, I think the partnership of those two players are doing very well. And also the goalkeeper is actually doing very, very well. Is actually the reason as to why they are on the top of the league.
Some
They're on top
echo.
of they're where. Sorry?
There's some echo from you, Mabea. I don't know.
Is it from me?
Yeah. When Moavivia was speaking, it was very clear.
Um, so what I'll do, I'll not use my earphones. I'll stop using.
You are lost.
Am I clear now?
Yes, you're good. Better.
Okay, what I'm saying is that there's some players who are doing very well at the moment. Like the goalkeeper, he's doing very well.
Muliro, Milankovic, and I think White. This is the backbone of that team. They have a very good backbone. Still some echo, right?
Yeah.
What has happened?
It's like there's a TV on the background and something. I don't know.
TV. Let me see. How about now?
Continue.
So, as I was saying, I feel like for them, they have good players who you're going to see.
Yeah.
Inatoka pande gani?
Sijui
What?
inatoka wapi.
Let
Let
me
me
drop
see.
and come back.
Let me do this, eh?
Nikiongea mnasikia iko kweli?
Let me see. What I mute, eh? I've already muted both of you so that I finish, then I'll unmute you. You know, because it seems you're no problem. So I was saying, I feel like one of the reason as to why the reason as to why Nottingham Forest are doing well, it's because of some of the players that they have. They have a very good goalkeeper who, looking at this number of saves that he's made, and I think he has like 9 clean sheets so far this season. He's done very well. Also, they have a very good defense. They have 2 good fullbacks. They have, of course, Ola Aina, and I don't know the name of the other fullback. But looking at their defense, they have quality players who probably could actually get a position or could actually get a spot in some of the big teams in the Premier League. In the midfield, they have Gibson White, one of the best young players. I remember when that England team won the Euros, the likes of Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill, he was on that team. So he's a very talented player who can also play in big teams. They also have Odoi, who at some point was a great talent of that nation, of his generation. They have Elanga, who also came from a very good academy, Manchester United. So looking at those players, I feel like they have developed together well, and they have a manager who, looking at him, he's someone who can be able to build a team. At some point, he was at Wolves, and remember when he was at Wolves, Wolves were a very dangerous team. I know both of us have actually faced the wrath of Wolves when Nuno was there. When he had so many Portuguese players, it was very difficult to face him. And we know what Nunes can do as a manager. So at the moment, I feel like it's not going to be easy to topple them from the top, and they're going to do very well, even in this second part of the season. So that is my submission on that. I don't know what you would have to add about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. They have a very good manager. I said that earlier, and they're playing as a unit. They're playing as a team, and I don't expect them to be out of top 4. That's what I'm telling you. Actually, don't expect Nottingham Forest with the mentality. I've watched their games with the mentality. I think they're going to maintain that position, and they're going to fight. Now that they're competing with Arsenal closely, and Man City is also joining in. Remember, Arsenal and Man City will still have their hopes of winning other trophies, which I don't think Forest is going to fight for. Forest, their main trophy this season is to play in the Champions League next season. Their main trophy is to finish in the top 4. So with Arsenal suffering from the injuries that they're having, Man City with also their problems and fighting for other things, it's going to give Forest some leeway to maybe be on top of those two giant clubs this season.
Okay, Reg.
As I said, me now, I just feel like Nottingham Forest are not going to fall off anytime soon, because from the way they are playing and from the mentality they have, the energy, they are just good all round. So it is very difficult for them to go to follow from the top 4 spot, because if they were to fall off, then they could have fell off way back, like in the first leg. But from the way they are playing, their mentality, the energy, the unity, and everything, and Mabea venye umesema, these guys have a very, very good manager. A manager who was very successful with an average team. When you talk about success with the Wolves, it was not all about like winning trophies and stuff. But as we all know, Wolves by then was an average team as they are right now. But they were still performing against the big teams and the rest of the teams, the rest of the average teams. So I feel like these guys are just going to be in the top 4. The worry is actually, as an Arsenal fan, I'm worried about Arsenal, because when you look at Man City are now coming back because from the signings they've made, and Nottingham Forest being in the top 4 spot. So actually, I'm kind of worried, because for a team like Arsenal, we are not that good, because we are dropping off points. We don't have that strength. We have a lot of injuries, and days with the window transfer, days are going to end. And there's no hope. Actually, there's no hope that we are going to sign a lot of players who will help us through until the end of the season. So I feel like Nottingham Forest, there's no doubt about Nottingham Forest. These guys are going to be in the top 4, and maybe second, third, or fourth. Actually, just in the top 4. Actually, I'm just worried about my team. But when it comes to Nottingham Forest, I don't have any doubt about that team.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about City now. You've just talked about City right now, and you said that you're worried about their current form because they're doing very well. Fun. I'll start with the Man United ambassador. Looking at Manchester City at the moment, of course, they were not playing against a very strong team. They were playing against a team that is battling or fighting for relegation, but they scored. They scored enough goals to make a statement. What do you think about City right now? Foden is back scoring goals. Haaland has already started scoring goals. Doku has started scoring goals. Savinho is contributing to goals, though he gets injured oftenly. McAtee scoring goals, a youngster, a very good player. Where do you think this will end? Is it going to end them being at probably top of the Premier League, or fighting with Liverpool to win the Premier League, or where do you think this is going to end? Or where do you think this is heading to?
Okay, just remember, this is Man City, and that is Pep Guardiola. We all know Pep Guardiola. When Pep Guardiola said that he wants his players back, people are asking themselves, which players is he talking about? Is he talking about Rodri? And I told you, Mabea, I think we had a conversation over this, and I told you that Pep Guardiola was talking about the mentality. You could see the mentality of these players when he was losing those matches. Those were not Pep Guardiola's players. And watching the last match that they won 6, you could see the fighting spirit is in. And there's something that we've been doing. Look at when Kovacic scored his goal, he immediately looked for Foden to congratulate him for that. So already the unity is coming back. And Pep Guardiola with Man City, with the players that I've seen that they have signed, Pep Guardiola is still in it. He's going to fight until the end. I don't want to say that they're back. I told you I'm waiting to see what they're going to do against Chelsea this coming weekend. I want to see how Chelsea is going to handle Phil Foden and the core people like Haaland. But you can't write off Man City. I think we said it even when they were losing matches every weekend. We still said that Man City is one team that can hurt you anytime. They can come back and they can fight for the league. It's not far off. It's not far off. I look at the points difference. I remember we are doing match week 22, right? Is it 22 or 21?
It's 22 now. We are heading to
Yeah.
22.
And we are going up to 38. We still have Champions League to play. Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal are in the Champions League. So this is also going to work against them going forward when we are going to the run-ins. So expect Pep to do something, and especially not this, especially if Pep wins against Chelsea. Please note that turning point. He will win against PSG away. If he wins against Chelsea, he's going to win against PSG. If he loses against Chelsea, he's going to lose PSG. Please note.
And you know he's playing PSG tomorrow, so one match comes earlier before the other. So
yes, if he wins against PSG, please be ready. Be ready as Chelsea.
Okay. Reg, what do you have to say about Spurs?
The mentality is already back. The mentality is the fighting spirit is already back. I can see from the players, from their faces, from people like players like Doku, you can see they are ready to give their best. Yeah.
Man sacrifice is marriage for football. I mean, it's not going to be easy to defeat him. He's going to fight on the pitch.
Exactly. 30 year marriage.
30-year marriage for football.
Yes.
What do you have to say, Reg? What do you think about Manchester City right now and the way they are flying high?
Manchester City. Actually, I'll say this. Actually, allow me to speak as an Arsenal fan just a little bit. Yeah, but I'm trying to put the point at home, right? As an Arsenal fan, we've been competing with Man City for the previous 2 seasons. We were competing with these guys. So the reason as to why I'm talking like an Arsenal fan, because actually it is out of experience. We've been competing with these guys. And I'll use a very good example. The season before last season but one, we were ahead of Man City with more than 10 points. We were ahead of these guys with more than 10 points. So actually the reason as to why I'm saying that these guys, actually I don't have a doubt with Man City, because I'm actually saying it right now. These guys are going to be in the top 4 by the end of the season, because the difference between like a team like we are second on the table, the difference between Arsenal and Man City are just 6 points, you know. And you know, this team is very ambitious and they're very serious, simply because when you look very well in this January window transfer, these guys have tried to sign players, you know. Pep amekuja akarealize that, okay, you know, when Alvarez left, they never replaced Alvarez. But these guys, Pep amerudi and is very serious about it. Akaangalia, maybe there are some positions, maybe we need to strengthen some positions, whereby if Haaland is not stepping up, because maybe there are some few games, maybe Haaland, maybe fatigue, maybe kuchoka, maybe he won't step up the way he's supposed to step up. So what did Pep do? Alienda akatafuta someone who can help Haaland, of which they have signed Omar Mamouche, you see. So this is a very serious team. This is an ambitious team. This is a team that is used to competing each and every season in, season out, each and every season they have to compete. So I think these guys are very serious about it, and these guys are going to be back. Actually, I'm not surprised. Even yesterday I told Mabea, these guys, I'm not surprised if they finish second. Maybe we can say that finishing first, it will be very difficult, because also Liverpool are a very ambitious team. They are a very serious team. Liverpool have the experience. So maybe finishing first, it will be very tough. But actually finishing second, maybe they can finish second, because when you look at Arsenal, actually we are very predictable, you know, and we do the very, very same mistakes each and every season. We drop points. Kuna games we are supposed to win, but we end up dropping points. So actually it is not a surprise when Man City finish second, because actually they know how to play the game, they know how to play their cards, they have the seriousness, and actually they have the energy, because we can see that back. So what I can say about Man City, these guys, they are going to be back in the top 3 spot.
Okay, they're going to be back in the top three spots, and of course, as you
Yeah,
said, they have the money. They can sign who they
yeah,
want. They have the pull factor because they have been winning trophies. It is very easy for someone to be convinced with the project that they have, because as I said yesterday, it is not easy for other players or top players to join the likes of probably Chelsea, Manchester United, and Arsenal at the moment, because looking at the project that we have not done anything with those projects. But the City, they just treble winners. They were just treble winners just 1 season ago, and they won the Premier League last season. And they have a manager who has been there, done it, has a reputation of doing it. So it is very easy for someone for it's very easy for a player to accept the project that they have, because you can easily be a treble winner like Haaland got himself to City, match made in heaven. Haaland was good, Man City was good. Yeah, they got a treble. Won the Premier League, got a top score. Was the top scorer of the Premier League. Did break all the records. The only thing he didn't do is win the Ballon d'Or because of corruption. Now, let's talk about let's talk about Manchester United. On Sunday, something usual happened. Something that we expected happened. I don't know whether you expected that, Manchester United ambassador. Did you expect Manchester United to lose against Brighton?
I mentioned it at some point, and Manchester United has been playing very poorly against the so-called small teams, because looking at the Premier League, we still consider Brighton not a very big team, right? It is not the same level of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. And Manchester United have been playing very poorly against these teams. Look at the match they play against Southampton. If Southampton were clinical enough, they could have scored 3 goals in the first half. So I expected. And Brighton has been a bogey team for Manchester United for long, even when they're playing very well. They have been losing to Brighton season in, season out. I remember there is a time, I think that was the last time Manchester United won against Brighton at home. Was it at home or away? Manchester United actually were given a penalty after the final whistle.
Yeah.
Scored by Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. When Jose was at Spurs and Ole was at United, I remember Jose saying when you play against United, you cannot celebrate until you've gone into the dressing room or you've gone home, because you can be called from the dressing room to come and take consider penalty.
Yeah, they were actually awarded a penalty after the final whistle, and it was scored by Bruno Fernandes. The match ended 3-2. Brighton has been a problem to Manchester United.
Yeah.
This is the third time. In fact, it is only Man City who has done that. 3 wins in a row at Old Trafford. It's only Man City who has done that in the Premier League. So Brighton has also done it. So it's something that I expected. The team, Manchester United team, is still under. They are rebuilding. They are rebuilding with very mistakes from the goalkeeper as usual. Onana can be very good and can be very bad at the same time. Onana is watching the ball going into the net, and he's very comfortable. Yeah. So the question was, did you expect this? Yes. With the players in Brighton ranks, Mitoma. I mentioned Mitoma, and that one something that Mitoma and Welbeck are 2 players that the manager, if you're a good manager, you're going to meet Brighton. Those are players that you really need to find a way of stopping them. If you stop Mitoma, the same way when you're playing Arsenal and you stop Saka, you see Arsenal struggling. If you stop Mitoma, you see you can easily win against them. And most of the matches that they have lost or maybe drawn, Mitoma struggles, or maybe he's not there, maybe out of injury or something. So if you can't stop Mitoma, just know that you will be punished. Anyway, I expected that. I expected
Yes.
that.
Now, did you expect that, Rich, from United losing against Brighton at home with a new manager? With, of course, they had gotten a very good win against Southampton. Off the back of that win, you expect them losing against Brighton at home?
I'll repeat it again. I remember when we were on live the other day, I said that I expected them to lose simply because before they played the other day, when we look at the previous 6 matches they've played against Brighton, they only won 1 match. So actually, it was going to be a very tough game because Brighton is a team that imekuwa ikilemea Man United each and every season. So actually, Brighton is that team. Actually, I gave a very good example. It's like Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal versus Southampton. Aston Villa and Southampton, these are two teams that actually when we play against as Arsenal, isn't it imutulemea? I don't know why. It's the same thing when it comes to Man United versus Brighton. Brighton is a team that when Man United play against Brighton, Man United have to concede, and actually they end up losing the game most of the time. So actually, in short, I expected it to be a very, very tough match, and actually I expected Brighton to win that match, honestly, as a football fan.
So analyzing from what you saw in that match, I hope you looked at the match, and
Yes.
where do you think Man United need to improve, or what really happens when Manchester United play against those kind of teams? Because we've seen them playing against Liverpool. They did put up a very good show against Liverpool. They did put up a very good show against Arsenal. Remember, they played against Arsenal in an FA Cup, but they eliminated Arsenal in that cup. And now, coming into Brighton, a fixture that you'd expect them to win because of the result that they've been showing against big teams, the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal. I thought that was an easy match for them. Where did it really go wrong for United in that match against Brighton?
It's me, right? Okay. Actually, when I take a look at Man United, actually, I feel like me as a football fan, nikiangalia these guys who play up front, Hodgland and Zirkzee. I feel like, first of all, acha niongele these two guys. I feel like Ruben Amorim these two guys are not the perfect guys for this manager, because actually that's why I always say, since Amorim joined, actually I don't expect much from this Man United team, because first of all, this manager is working is working with the available players and anatumia the available players. So I feel like this guy is a very good manager, but he needs his own players. He needs to identify, I need this kind of player, players who are going to deliver according to his system. So actually, when I look at the defense, actually I feel like Maguire is really trying. A player like Maguire is really trying. I feel like the elite is really trying. So the problem, there is one guy who said, and I actually backed his point. You see a defender like Martinez, this back three system, actually it's exposing the guy, because the guy is short, and they're playing us with the back three system. So I feel like Martinez is a little bit straining, compared to players like Maguire and Elite. So I feel like this current coach, who is Ruben Amorim, has to go back to the drawing board by the end of the season. He has to talk to the board. They have to sit down, and he has to identify which kind of players he needs, so that they can play according to his system. So that's all I can say about Man United. That's why I'm saying, actually, let's give this team until the end of the season. Let them recruit the right players for the manager. Then we will see if he will deliver next season.
Now, before I give someone who is going to give us an in-depth analysis of his team, let me ask. You've said that he needs to work with the players that will fit into his system. Now, do you think that most of these players that we have at United cannot really work with the system that United has at the moment? Because you cannot tell me that United are going to the market to change everybody in that team just to suit what the manager they brought in wants. Which are some of these players you think they're going to be incorporated in the new system that Ruben Amorim wants to probably play at United and get success?
Okay. First of all, I'll go back to the strikers. Actually, I'm very sure that first of all, Ruben Amorim will go for a striker. First of all, I'm very sure this guy will go for a striker. And you see, the reason as to why I'm saying this guy needs some few elements who will fit into his system. Actually, as a manager, we all know that they can't sign new players for the whole team, right? But there are some positions, the crucial positions. You see, that's the reason as to why we see like players like Garnacho, Rashford. These are the manager is trying to get rid of such players. Whoever knew that Man United will get rid of a player like Rashford and Garnacho? Nobody knew. But this simply means that this manager, these are the kind of players that actually they will strain according to the system of the manager. Actually, he needs some players who are going to fit into his system, right? So I feel like he needs to go into the market and find those few elements. We can't really sign the whole team, but rebuilding a team, we start by the most important positions, the crucial positions. So I feel like this guy will go for maybe for a striker. I'm very sure he will have to go for a striker, and maybe will go for for the wing backs. Actually, he will have to consider the wing backs because these are very crucial positions. When we are playing with the back three system, we'll have to find, or maybe he'll have to recruit the wing backs and maybe a striker. Yeah. So these are the type of positions maybe he'll have to get new players for the team.
Now, let's give Man United ambassador 001. He's actually been looking at players. He's been scouting players. He's an ambassador, so he's been sent by the club to look for players. So he's ready to give us some of the players that are going to be brought in to help the team. What do you think about this team? Where is the real problem at United, and why are you not getting results? I feel like the players you have are good enough to actually get results against the likes of Brighton, against the likes of, you've shown character when playing against United, against Arsenal, against Liverpool. You guys are showing that you can actually go to the wall. You can actually be in a battle and do something. But when it comes to you guys playing against, not disrespect to Southampton, not disrespect to Brighton, but these are teams that you should be whipping. What's happening?
Mabea and Reg, let me tell you that the system that we're playing, the 3-4-2-1 formation, it is a
Makwama.
Hello. Unless you have players who are ready to run with quick passes, that is when you can succeed. Looking at all those teams that are using the same formation in Italy, you'll agree with me. Those are players that make very quick passes going forward, and we don't have such players. Having Mazraoui, looking at him, is not a natural wing back. He's the one who has been playing on the right side. Dalot is a right back. He can play on the right wing as a right wing back, but currently he's helping Manchester United to play on the left. So he's also struggling there. Remember, in the middle of the park, we have a new player, somebody who is new in the league, playing his first season, and a young player. Those are the players that Amorim is using. That is Maino. Maino is still a relatively young player. If you remember the Manchester United that we used to have, Maino is somebody who should be coming from the bench. Ugarte is also relatively a young player. His first season in the league, you don't expect much from him. So the team is gelling. They are building the team. That defense that Reggie is talking about, it is true. Martinez is not comfortable, and the height is working against him. And that is why, and I mentioned it, why Amorim decided to use Euro instead of Martinez against Brighton. Actually, in Amorim's mind, I believe he was thinking of Welbeck. Welbeck is one player who's very good in the air. So you need people or defenders who can handle him in situations like that. And that is why Euro was brought in to handle Welbeck. So Manchester United, I don't expect much from them. I know they're capable. The team is capable of winning something, not the league, obviously. But they're still capable of getting something. Remember why you feel that Manchester United played well against Liverpool and Arsenal. Those are bragging rights. Those are matches that you don't go and lose because it can disorientate you the entire season just because you've been beaten by Arsenal or Liverpool. So they give their all. And then you remember, even the manager himself said that after the Arsenal match, after the Liverpool match, the players were very tired because they did 110%. Going into Arsenal match, they also did more than that because they were less, like almost 60 minutes. Remember, we went up to extra time. So these players were tired. There was fatigue. There was fatigue in that team. And looking at the bench, you don't have the right players. Remember, Ahmad, according to me, Ahmad plays very well as a wing back. Ahmad naturally is a winger. Currently, he's playing as a half 10 because the formation we're using 2 10s. That is Bruno and Ahmad. But Ahmad playing as a wing back, when Dalot was given the red and he missed the Southampton game, so Ahmad played on the right side as a wing back. He did better than what he does as a 10. Ahmad is not a 10. And the manager is trying to make him fit in the system. You know, when you are playing a team like Liverpool, you can be defensive. When you're playing a team like Brighton, you attack. So I expected him to use 3 defenders, yes, but have wingers on as left and right wing backs instead of using defenders. And Mazraoui, people have said that Mazraoui is a good player, is a good signing. To me, he's not fitting in. He plays better playing at the back 3, but not as a right back, not as a right wing back. Mazraoui plays better. There are some matches that he played when Maguire was injured, and he played back as a back 3. He did well. I haven't seen Mazraoui giving a serious cross. He's one player who doesn't give a serious run. Things people like Lukman can give you on the wing as a wing back player. Yeah. Maybe I know you know Lukman very well. He's one player that you like. So let's wait and see what the manager, and the manager is very rigid. He's saying that he is ready to suffer and do the right thing. So it's like the season is done for Manchester United. For him is to just keep Manchester United afloat within the league and start his season next. So don't
Now,
expect much from Manchester United this season. I think it is done, and he told the fans that we are going to suffer. Expect it. And yes,
now,
he
what do you
did.
think about what do you think about your midfield? Because if you ask me, I think your major problem comes from the midfield. I have told
Yes,
you more often than not
I mentioned the midfield. I've mentioned those 2 young players that we are having
that.
in Ugarte. Ugarte is only 23, and
Yeah.
Mainu. Yes, Mainu is barely 20.
Mhm.
You see, so they lack the experience. Manu is one player who is not, he doesn't have the pace to run, he doesn't have the energy, he gets really tired in these matches. The midfield is exposed. I think Amorim with this formation should add one body. Let him use, if I was Amorim at this stage, if I want to take Manchester United out of where Manchester United is, that is the 13, 14, I will add one body to the midfield. Bring 110, the 2 10s that he's using, bring one to the midfield so that you pack that midfield a little bit. Use 3 midfielders and a single 10, so that you bring bodies to the midfield so that teams don't overrun you in the middle of the park. You get what I'm saying? You can
So
bring
you'd want him
Casemiro,
to,
you can bring Eriksen in that midfield. Yes, you just change formation to get out
you
of
would
the,
want him to play
Manchester
5-3-2, 5-3-2, so that you can have three solid midfielders, and of course, like a
yes.
striker, and one who's going
What,
to
what,
support the striker, the number 10.
yes, what I was telling you, Ateta should have done against Aston Villa after scoring the second goal to
Yeah.
prevent Aston Villa from running through that midfield and creating chances. Pack that midfield. Make it difficult for teams to run through you. That's what you do. You make that midfield difficult for teams to run through. For now, because what Amorim should do is to bring Manchester United to the first page. Only that. That's the only thing that he should do now. This
So
season.
you mean it has come to that? Like, your ambition is to be on
Exactly. It is
being
painful.
first.
It is painful because I was even reading something, Opta,
Yeah.
that Manchester United appears on the list of teams that can be relegated. I think the last, yes, with 0.06, I think, percentage. But the fact that Manchester appears on that list is sad. It's sad because Manchester United is a team that we shouldn't even imagine that can be relegated at this stage, right? Yes. So the fight and bring the team out of page 2 and come to the first page and maybe win, which is possible. Winning this, like the new system of the Champions League and the Europa League, there are no teams that are going to drop from Champions League to Europa League. So it is straightforward. If you are a good manager, you will go and study all those teams that are in the Europa League and see how you can win that trophy. Because you don't expect any team to drop from the Champions League. Once you are knocked out, you are gone, right? So
Yes.
Manchester United needs a midfielder like the caliber of Kante, and I see one in Brighton, in Baliba. Baliba is very energetic. That boy runs the entire match, and I've watched him a number of times. I've mentioned this. If you can play Baliba and Gatti in midfield, my friend, I don't think that midfield is breakable. I'm telling you, Mino switches off a number of times. He's slow, he's talented, but very slow. And I don't think Mino is one player who has ever nailed any position for me. I don't know whether he's a defensive midfielder or attacking midfielder. Like Ugarte, you can see this is a destroyer. I was just watching the number of breaks that he has made when they're being attacked. But Mino, he can't tackle. Mino, I don't know whether he's a 10. He's just in the midfield. He has not nailed a position. Maybe if people can tell me, but I haven't seen Mino nailing a position and to say that this position, Mino is very good at this particular position. Maybe Reg can tell me if as a football fan, not an Arsenal fan, if Mino is as a position that you can talk about and say that is his position in that midfield. I've thought of, I think Mino can be a good 10 because he's a good scorer, by the way. And then he's one person that can do those short passes. He can do very well with Zagzi up front. I can try that if I was a manager. And especially when playing these FA matches, just take Mino, have Ugarte and Casemiro, and then have Mino and Bruno as the 2 10s and see what they can do when playing matches like FA against Leicester.
Now, I have a different thought on what you're saying. Huh? You've said there's something you said. If I were the manager right now, I'll take Maino as one of the 10s with the same
Yes.
system that he's using, but I'll not put Bruno as one of the 10s. I'd rather have Bruno dropping deep because he's one player who can find players from good positions. looking at Ugarte and Maino, the two of them cannot find players from deep positions. I'll get Bruno come deep, then have Maino as one of the tens and Ahmad as a wing back. As you said, he operates very well as a wing back. I'll have Maino switching towards the left as one of the 10 that goes to the left. I'll have Zagzi towards the right.
Another
I'll have Hoyland. I'll have Hoyland as a striker. I'll try that because, I mean, you also need someone with the instincts of scoring. Like Hoyland will give you that. Zagzi will give you 1-on-2, 1-2 with who?
Maino.
With Maino, and they will progress the ball going forward. They'll try and do something. See, that is what you need. I feel like if you fix there and you have right wing backs or the correct wing backs, it's going to be easy for you. And actually, you actually need to have one of the attacking wing back. You cannot play all defenders as your wing backs. It's not going to work. The defenders, they cannot actually run in behind. You see, that match you played against Brighton, the first half, you're playing very well. You had a start. In fact, I feel like the manager had a strategy. The first half, you guys were pressing man to man. Brighton were not actually getting in behind your defender. It was not easy for them to get through. In fact, looking at the goals that they got even in the second half, it is not because they played brilliant. That is why they got the goals. It's because it was just self-destruction from Manchester United players, and actually not even players from your goalkeeper. I mean, one Maguire did put I think was it Mitoma onside, and then the third goal was
blunder from
Onana.
But
Even
again,
the second goal was a blunder from a goalkeeper. You have to.
Yes, just to mention, just as you've said, Manchester United played very well. Actually, they contained. I did not even see Mitoma in the first half. He wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but again, energies dropped in the second half. That's why I'm telling you this system really needs people who have got the energy to do it. That's why sometimes when you pack that midfield, you can get something just to save face for this season. But the formation that he's playing is good. I sometimes I feel like this guy should take Mazraoui back to the back three, play Martinez as a left wing back. Martinez is very good in terms of passing and even scoring goals. We have seen him do that. Have him as a wing back because we don't have Shaw. He's a natural lefty. Then take Dalot back to right. Let Dalot play on his natural position, which is the right side of the field. Martinez to play on the left. Have delete Maguire and Mazraoui as a back three. Martinez will give you those passes. In fact, Dalot wasted so many chances in the first half. I don't know why he was coming in front of the defenders. Remember, those Brighton midfielders are very experienced. They know what you are trying to do. Because what I saw Dalot doing it twice. He wants to run in front of a defender with the ball. Martinez will give you something from the left side of the defense. You don't have to insist and play him as a back three. Play him on the left as we wait for Shaw to come back. I know he's coming back very soon, and he's going to strengthen that attack. Because Shaw is one person who will run, but for how long? You may do a one match and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something funny has happened.
So with the player that he has, what we've said, Maino can go and play as a 10. Bruno back, it's okay. Yeah, he's doing that when he's playing for Portugal. He always plays deep.
Yeah.
And they have Martinez as a left wing back. He has the energy. Yes, for now, because you don't have the personnel to implement your to do your formation.
What happened to Malaysia? Malaysia, is he still fit?
Malaysia is not fit enough to play in the Premier League as at now. Remember, Malaysia is one player who was out for a year without kicking the ball. It's never easy. Yes, so we still don't have the energy to play in the Premier League. And remember, for you as play as a wing back, you have to run. I think that is why the manager is also avoiding playing Martinez there. But Martinez is experienced enough. He is not like a pacey player, but he's very experienced. He knows how to do it. I've seen him do it. Yeah.
Reg,
And
are you
especially,
here?
yes, he's here, but he wants to sleep.
No, he's freezed. Yeah, I can see it. He was not moving.
Especially when you're playing against teams that are going to sit back. Play Martinez on the left. Yeah. What is happening?
I'm saying there's something that has happened here. Barcelona have won a match that I don't understand how they've won this match. At some point they were losing 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And they've won 5-4. They got 3 penalties. They got 3 penalties, my friend. Just from nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got the 3 penalties.
No, because they were attacking. You only get penalties when you attack.
No, I feel like the
referee was a cheat.
Yeah.
So, Mabea, I think we've done for tonight.
Yeah, we're done. The only game we've not talked about is Chelsea's, but we'll still talk about it next time. I think it's too late for us. Let's sleep. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, it's already 1. Thank you so much for coming. So, guys, we have a podcast that, of course, we're doing. We have a crew called the Blue Red Crew. And I'll tell guys to subscribe to my brother's YouTube channel. It's called Manchester United Ambassador 001. It's on YouTube. Go subscribe, share his content. He's doing amazing content in there, and also on TikTok. You can follow him from TikTok and grow this community. We can grow this community together. We'll be doing a lot of football here. We'll be talking about the Premier League. We'll be talking about La Liga. We'll also be talking about the Kenyan Premier League sometimes. And we have a lot of things we'll be talking about in football. We'll have a segment talking about Champions League, segment talking about other trophies like Conference League, where Chelsea is playing at the moment. I mean, we'll have so many things talking about in football. Now, I don't know whether you have something to say before we leave.
I just support your sentiments. We urge fans to support us, to subscribe to our channels. Mine is Manchester United Ambassador 001 on YouTube, Manchester United Ambassador 001 on TikTok. We are doing some good job there. We analyze matches. Yeah, let's do it together. Remember, we can't do it ourselves. We must be together in this. This is a sport that we all love.
Thank you so much. Let's meet on Friday. Or rather, I think we'll have a segment tomorrow. We'll try and do something tomorrow again, talking about what has happened tonight, or rather, what will be happening tomorrow night also. We'll be looking at that. We can also have a watch along of probably an Arsenal match that is going to be played tomorrow against. I can see Reg is back. Reg.
Poleni, nimepotea kidogo network.
No problem. I don't tumemaliza sisi.
Okay.
We're actually signing out.
Reg, thank you for coming. I think this is the first time that we are having this. It was amazing having you.
Thank you.
You are one person that I don't like because you support Arsenal with all your organs.
Yes.
You see, he's a proper. When he's analyzing football, he doesn't put his Arsenal attire.
It was good engaging you.
I think it was a pleasure.
I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I've enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see whether we link up tomorrow. I don't know whether you'll allow us to do a watch along of your match, Arsenal tomorrow.
Versus PSG.
Yeah, versus PSG. Is it PSG?
No. Girona.
No.
Let's try and do a Manchester City versus PSG tomorrow. That will be a nice game.
Yes.
Manchester City ndo watacheza na PSG.
Yes.
Si
Arsenal
tunacheza
versus
na
Verona.
no, Dynamo Zagreb.
Dynamo Zagreb. Oh.
Yes.
Now you can join us as we watch Manchester City PSG. You'll also be watching your
Yeah.
match. You
Yes.
will be updating on what is happening on that match. So we will have fun tomorrow. So let's join us. Let's come together tomorrow. We do something tomorrow again. And of course, as we normally watch along, we'll be talking about other topics, Yeah. So thank you so much. Let's meet tomorrow. Same time, same place. Good night, guys.
Okay, have
night.
a good night. Good night.
Thank you.